And then I can hit record when you give me the thumbs up. Record to the cloud.
All right. Call the Public Safety Committee meeting to order on Monday, September 8th at 5 o'clock. Let's see here. Number one, we'll move to Public Safety Committee meetings called the order. We did that July 14th minutes. Did you see anything, Chris? That you thought that needed to be changed at all?
No, they look good.
Me neither. So in that one, do we just receive them then?
Mhm.
Yeah, just receive the minutes as presented. We have to make a, we don't have to make a motion on it.
I think if there are our own minutes, we are accepting them and approving them. Correctly.
It looks like last month you guys approved.
All right, I'll approve it.
1 second.
First and second, any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
I,
Motion carries. All right, public comment on agenda items, 2 minutes per person, 14 minutes per topic. I don't know, do you wanna talk now or do you wanna?
Just wait till
Okay,
the agenda, I guess.
nobody else is on,
Double check, let's see, chat. Okay, now we got a thumbs up from Ryan, so nope, no one else.
okay, cool. All right, well then we'll close public comment. All right, now,
Okay, we got Donnie here.
all right.
Hey Donnie,
Hey Donnie, you on there? Can you hear us?
I can hear you, but I'm still at work.
Okay, I hear you too, buddy.
So I guess I'm not gonna be able to continue. I just want to jump on here to see if I'm excused from the meeting.
Yes,
Excellent. Are we gonna be able to do a meeting 5:30 next month?
yes.
That would be great.
Yep.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, have a good day.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye. All right, so, it doesn't look like we have anything unfinished business. So we'll move on to the new business. We'll discuss the concert season review. You guys can,
yeah, I guess I'll speak to it first. So I think we were up to date with the exception of, the one in July, and then we had two, in August. The two in August were back to back, by far the biggest ones that we had for the season. So it was Friday, August 15th and Saturday, August 16th. The Friday one was challenging due to, weather, inclement weather. So there was some lightning, in the area that sparked like a shelter in place, even before people were in. So people were essentially held at gates. And it also created a little bit of a challenging situation because all Live Nation parking staff was also sheltering. So they essentially removed for their safety, but all of their parking staff kind of went to their vans. They held it, I don't know how long they stayed in their vans, but they were crammed in like sardines. But it kind of turned into a little bit of a free-for-all in the parking lots. There was some private businesses that were also parking at the same time, which kind of helped a little bit. But that kind of added to some confusion and some surface level street parking issues that we encountered. But so yeah, overall, the show went on much later in the day, and most people were happy that it continued.
Yeah,
But people,
it was kind of a in between. Do you cancel the show
Oh, I figured you were right at
With
that.
all those people in lines,
No,
or do you at least try and get the headliner in, you know?
no,
It's a tough call.
It was a big,
yeah, I heard a lot of people that were a little upset, but
yeah.
I mean, when you start 2 hours later, an hour late or whatever it was, I mean.
And we were sending blasts out every 30 minutes to the
you were.
crowd
Yep,
and,
you sure were.
I mean, Joe,
You
these
sure did.
guys were doing everything they could to drive up and down,
On
you
the
know,
PAs. making
PAs telling people to
announcements.
shelter in their cars and,
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, I think that as far as that, I don't think you could have done anything better, right?
yeah. And, the entrance, when we finally did let them get them in, you know, rumors were they crushed the gates and, you know, this and that. Never happened.
Sure.
The gates went smooth. I stood at one gate with Scott Knudsen and these guys were all at the other gates, you know, just to monitor, and
Sure,
they all got in. The good thing was the headliner. They wanted to get like at least 80% of the people in
sure.
before the headliner went on, because if the music would have started, then maybe it would have been an issue,
Sure.
so.
so, I mean, there was, I was surprised overall, the crowd behaved themselves. There was one kind of fight disturbance that broke out during, some of this long waiting period. I think there was just a couple of arrests throughout the entire, evening. One of the issues we did encounter was, you know, kind of after the show, people, were kind of stuck here that came here from rideshare. It's like a one-way thing. We connected, with some local folks who, have rideshare businesses and or taxi businesses that kind of came in clutch for us, that kind of helped get people moved along. But, overall egress went really smooth, for all the shows, I'd say. You know, we kind of
Like right
targeted,
around that hour, huh?
right, we targeted an hour, even the last one. Was a little bit under an hour for getting people out.
A lot of people.
But, we've got some notes, we got some areas of improvement, parking signs is one of them. Kind of just more signs, probably double, what we have. But, there's some behind the scenes stuff that we might talk about.
Changing the address.
Yep. So one of the issues was people coming to 495 Main Street instead of going up to the County Road I-1.
Sure, that's all I was gonna say too, are you gonna continue doing?
Yeah.
How you did it?
Yeah, cause that last concert, or the last two, we used that north parking lot.
Yep.
We redid the whole,
So can you get quite a bit of cars in there,
walkway.
just to begin with?
Yeah,
Stage.
yeah.
That
We
makes a
re-
big difference.
We put a new north entrance in the venue. And then a walkway going all the way to
sure.
that.
So then
that
it's like a
parking
pain to
lot.
come that way or
Yeah.
park over there.
Yep, it's all lit.
Lit, that's a big deal, right?
Yeah, it really,
Yep,
that parking lot was a huge,
that's cool.
yeah.
Please.
So, I mean, you guys have any questions that we could help answer? I didn't really hear a whole lot of complaints regarding, traffic or congestions or major backups. I don't know if you heard something,
I haven't really,
just the, oh, yeah.
So,
I think the big thing was the Friday, the chaos, people parking on the streets.
the one, the,
What can we do? You know, I can't have.
when
my
you're like
people
a
out.
starting late like that, it's tough. Especially with that many people waiting.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, am I gonna get in? Oh, are they gonna cancel?
Yeah.
Oh, am I gonna get my money back? I heard that. It's like, I mean, they're gonna do what they gotta do to try to get you in.
And if you call, you know, we don't like to make it public, but if you call, you know, they give you.
No, but you guys we're good. There was a person that I was around that they were every 30 minutes, they were getting texts of what was going on.
it was nice.
So I mean, that's,
Yeah, we almost pulled the plug.
I figured you were
Scott
getting, you were
Knudsen.
right at that time, right? It's like,
Yeah.
well, do you do it or you don't?
Right.
But man, there was some people that were, you know, go, I paid blah, blah, blah. And I know it's like, I don't know what to tell you
But
when,
once they got in to listen to the headliner,
yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, once you, I mean, when you have like weather like that,
yeah,
I mean, it could have been easy to just say, sorry,
the ticket says rain or shine.
right?
It's an
Yeah.
outdoor.
And that, you know,
October.
unfortunately, the lightning is what got you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Rain, we don't care.
we don't want
So
anybody
lightning.
dead, or, you know,
Exactly.
fatalities. I mean, that's,
High winds and lightning are
Yeah.
the two bad parts.
Sure. So was that show, did it extend?
Nope.
Okay. you were
Nope,
able to
we
end up
got in
overtime?
our curfew midnight, yeah, usually, you know, it's kind of weird, our curfew is midnight. And, you know, not to say it's gonna happen all the time, but since Live Nation's been there, we've really never seen anything go after 11 o'clock.
sure, that's like, but you only went to a midnight though on the one, right? Or no, the,
The weather
Yes.
one, we went to midnight.
yeah,
And
which I don't think is terrible.
then we started a new thing this year is, it's called an after party. I have a DJ there.
Mhm.
So from, when the band stops till midnight,
So then they can hang out.
I have a DJ playing on another piece of the property.
Sure,
So it kinda helps the traffic too, you know,
sure,
so everybody's not rushing for the gates.
right.
I really
And
like that.
that's been
Even
working
triple
pretty good.
X. Mhm.
Yeah.
I did hear a gal saying that the bass was too loud. Could you turn it down? I heard that go across. And then about 20 minutes later, I think it was done.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Mr. Chairman,
Oh,
this is Ryan. May I make
Yeah.
a comment?
yes, absolutely.
I was fortunate to spend a lot of time with Joel and the officers both Friday and Saturday and did a good job. You know, Friday presented a lot of challenges, just like you discussed about. You know, I think what we learned with these larger concerts, we need to put no parking and more throughout the town than where we've scaled back the last couple of years, just in certain areas. You know, that would have helped the the water slide development area. You know, having those signs we put out on Saturday stopped completely the parking on side streets. So they're just little things I think, you know, Joel and I have discussed but I just want to extend to the police department, sheriff's department, EJ and Live Nation. Thank you for making my first summer as village president much easier with your professionalism, and thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ryan.
thanks, Ryan. And with Ryan, you know, right away, when we had that bad weather, Ryan got with me right away and said, if we need to go beyond your
Sure.
curfew, you know,
Yep,
we have to do it, you know, just and we're like, nah, just get the headliner in. So we did have that option, which is huge, and that is in our permit too. That the president can okay it,
sure.
so.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't want to do it, but I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure we had the discussion and, you know, make sure, you know, because it is a provision of the agreement and, you know, and we came, you know, EJ basically said, nope, we plan on sticking to our normal end time, which was very thankful. So we didn't have to go past, you know, exercise that option. You know, in the past, it was not part of the agreement and it was just an executive decision, but now it's part of the agreement. In a scenario like what happened, you know, weather delay or something like that, we could have extended, but we mutually agreed to try to stay on track, which I think the citizens, you know, the residents appreciated very much. So thank you again, EJ.
Thanks, Ryan, appreciate it.
Yeah, I think everybody seems to be working well together. To
Yeah.
make sure that,
Sheriff's Department and the police department, I mean, you couldn't ask for any.
and as far as those other signs, is this something that, you know, maybe I could, me and a couple of people that I could get together and maybe put those out for you guys? I mean,
Yeah.
well, I mean.
Hey,
I
I'll have them
got
loaded on the trailer.
side by side, so we
Right.
can just run around and just put them
Yeah.
up for you, I mean.
I feel like we should continue with like the public works summer help guys doing it, and then
Sure.
we could come through and kind of fill in gaps.
Right.
If we recognize some,
Yeah.
so they can do most
Yeah,
heavy
well, certainly
lifting.
could definitely help.
In the past, we used to do it.
Right, I know, I get
Even
it.
when John had it,
No,
but legally, we can't do it.
sure,
So that's kind of the whole why
sure,
Joel and the maintenance and kind of took it over, so.
sure,
Like I'll have. If he needs our signs, I'll have them loaded up on the trailer and he can just come and get the trailer
sure,
and go set them out.
sure. Yeah, so I mean, that's something I'm not opposed to helping on these as well, but sure. We'll talk about that, and then did you find out, was that, November? Or did we ever find anything on?
The last copy I have is from January, and it looks like it doesn't specify in there.
Okay,
I'll have to look back a little bit for that, a little bit, that's.
maybe on the next, would you be okay with November?
Well, we'll talk about it because we have a meeting.
Next Monday,
Next
2 Mondays.
2 Mondays.
Okay, so then we can, I'll get it on the next,
There's a active shooter training that day. And I just talked to Adam this morning
Mhm.
and let's not rush it.
Sure,
Let's cancel it.
Okay.
And let's pick another date when everybody is.
Yeah. sure,
okay,
that sounds good.
So
okay.
I'll send that
All right,
email out tomorrow.
Okay.
we'll keep in contact with Joel,
Yeah.
but then we'll get it on just to put it, set it in stone what time
Yeah.
you guys wanna.
Ultimately, we wanna give the
Incident command authority.
incident command authority back to Joel
Okay,
instead of the sheriff's department. There's no hard feelings, no.
Sure.
Nothing, we just. I think it's a lot easier because Joe is here,
yeah,
you know, and Scott,
just here every.
he's a
all the time.
very, very busy person and, when we have our meetings. It could be Scott, it could be this guy, it could be this guy, so. But we'll still use the sheriff's department
Oh,
under
absolutely,
his authority.
Sure.
So,
good,
yeah,
all right. Well, I'll just,
so,
that'll be something that we can put on for, future agenda items then.
it'll be pretty easy, cause. The reason it got switched over to the sheriff's department. Was politics,
Sure,
it,
okay,
kind of a bad deal.
good, did, you have anything else to add?
Thank the village. I mean, I can't thank everybody enough for the support for the season. I think it went great.
Nice,
Yeah,
good, good,
that ingress is always a challenge,
Mhm.
sure. It really doesn't help when you gotta.
yeah. And then you get the township fighting. That's the big thing is the township doesn't want us to use the roads.
Sure,
Well, there's nothing we can do.
right,
People got their phones. And
GPS.
they try and find the easiest way in.
sure.
Well,
No.
no,
All right, did, Ryan have anything else to add at all, or is he's still on?
Not at this time. I think, as we approach the ICUP process, I'll share my thoughts with Joel and he can, represent those to you guys through the review process. I have some notes, but a lot of it is what you've talked about already. So,
Right,
so thank you very much.
excellent.
Good job, guys.
yeah, and I do got one other thing, so. This last season. We have been including, like, we have our little meetings up there. We have been including like a board member will come up
Sure,
and then, the law enforcement, we've been including the township too now.
oh, that's super,
So
that's super,
I think that makes them feel really good that,
well, I think it's good
They're
anyway,
part of
right?
it.
I think everybody is a part, I mean, it affects everyone.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
so.
so,
excellent.
okay, I'm done.
All right, thanks, buddy,
So, thank you.
thanks a lot for everything,
See you next
it was a
year.
good year,
And see Joel.
all right.
I'll send pictures of Willie.
All right, sounds good.
Now, we'll do, discuss possible recommendations, street use permit, Somerset School Homecoming Parade.
It looks very similar to the years past, so, which I'm in favor of kind of this condensed one that leaves Klucher and Depot mostly open. Which kind of helps with the skeleton crew instead of bringing in 7 of us in overtime and
Sure.
using public works and
Yep.
maybe some sheriff's office people. It's a little bit more easy to manage.
Well, good. I'm okay with it as well. I'll recommend, the street use permit for the Somerset School Homecoming Parade.
Second,
First and second, any other discussion? All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, moving on. Discuss possible recommendation, capital improvements, planning department overview. Is this Joel, I would like to almost push this off to next month possibly if we could. Sure. I mean,
Yeah,
it's on here if we wanna touch bases on it a little bit,
sure.
but I'd like to have Donnie in on that,
Yeah,
so,
and I think it might be good for you guys to take this in and
Yeah, to
adjust
build.
it a little bit.
I mean, are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So it was like 36 pages that I had to print on 2 sides, 2
Sure.
sheets.
Yeah.
I do have this in a PDF I can send you guys.
Sure.
Too. But
If
can I,
if you're okay with that.
yeah, do you mind if I just give a 30,000 foot overview?
Absolutely.
So essentially, I attached our capital improvements line items in our budget sheet here. And then on the kind of the latter pages, it's more of each of those line items and what I see fitting in those and kind of what our needs are moving forward. Traditionally, we've always kind of scraped the bottom of the barrel, and kind of tried to tie stuff together last minute. The whole idea of this is to kind of get a good formulated plan together and come up with a number that we can put in each of these line items annually to kind of meet our needs. So, and then beyond that, for example, in 2029, we know we're gonna have to purchase those radios that are gonna be between $140,000 and $160,000. We're gonna have to decide whether we wanna borrow that money for 1 year, which it sounds like is kind of standard practice for big purchases. I think Eller's recommended that with one of our last plow trucks. We can like borrow through like the state trust fund loan at like 4% for 1 year, which would be like $6,000 worth of interest. And it would have like a impact on our debt service, which would appear on the taxes as about $100 per household for a $300,000 house. So,
Yeah.
so just food for thought. Ryan, you got something you wanna?
No, I was just gonna say thank you for starting to work on this, because, you know, the more we can improve that capital projects plan overall for the village, for all departments, and start, you know, setting aside money. It, just like you said, it allows us to move some projects forward because we can use the money we're setting aside for other projects to borrow against. So,
And it is a big ticket item. It'll be probably around
yeah,
$160,000.
I've
And my
I've
biggest
teased
problem.
Terry Anderson at the county several times, but after understanding the technology and the reasons, it is a much needed upgrade, but it's very expensive.
Yes. Yep.
Luckily, we've got a couple years to budget for it, so.
Well, my only thing is, it'd be interesting, I don't know how you would, but, what would the difference of doing a loan now and getting them versus waiting another 5, 6 years? I mean, are we talking 20%, or, I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, what's inflation gonna
What's
be?
inflation gonna be?
But the problem is having them now is gonna do us no good, because we're not on a
Sure.
800 megahertz dual band,
Sure,
system, so.
so we'll shoot.
And then we'll need another set of new ones in 7 years after that, so
Yeah.
it's like. we
And
might
the
as well-
technology could change between now and 4 years from now when we have to have them in place.
You know,
So,
absolutely.
it's kind of that side of it.
Sure.
Coin.
But being that at least we're in line right when we or when the best time you feel.
Right. Yeah. Well, and we're gonna be a part of a kind of a cooperative group purchase request for bid, in 2028, 2029, with the rest of the municipalities in St. Clair County. So that might give us more competitive pricing.
Absolutely.
I think we should plan for the worst case scenario number and
Yep.
kind of reel our way back from there, but I mean, if you guys wanna take the time to go through that PDF,
Yep.
I put in a lot of good details, including the request for bid and kind of the pros and cons of borrowing or budgeting for it now.
Sure, yep. All right, okay, well, I think they table that for next month.
Second that.
First and second on the table, I think we've pretty much wrapped it up, so, all in favor?
Hi.
Aye. All right, motion carries. Now, discuss possible recommendations, staffing and budget considerations for 2026.
So, this January, during the Public Safety Committee meeting, I did a presentation on the kind of the year-end review. I kind of talked a little bit about, our staffing, our numbers, our comparables to other agencies. I did put the link to that, under the operational justification at the end for anybody following along at home that wants to kind of click that and go, it's right to that time in the video. It's around 21 minutes. But so one of the issues, we're kind of coming to a head here is, one, we're operating pretty lean with 7 full-time officers. And two, we have an officer who's being deployed, for a year, starting in December. So, we're already lean and now we have, essentially what's gonna be a 12-month vacancy. 11 of those months are gonna be in 2026. So, in that January meeting, I kind of started planting the seed for the idea of, adding another officer. There's a lot of different kind of benchmarks, that departments can use, but, the FBI, UCR staffing averages, is kind of they look at agencies around, the United States and they say, well, this is what the averages are. So agencies serving 25,000 to 10,000 residents average about 2.4 officers per 1,000 population. So if we're using that formula for us, which I just confirmed today with Andrea, the latest numbers came back, we're right around 3,500. We're above 3,500, but the benchmark is 8.4 full-time officers. So we're currently at 7. We're below the national average. We got the Pinevale, Wine Sap. I saw they broke ground and there's now framing going up on the apartment complexes going in.
And Joe back there.
I don't think it's gonna be too long. We're gonna be approaching 4,000 per population.
Sure.
Some of the challenges, for hiring law enforcement these days. It takes about 6 to 12 months to onboard a new cop. So, I went to the academy this past month. Usually we do like a little bit of a spiel. I also teach there, as an adjunct, but, traditionally we go there and try to recruit the folks who aren't sponsored. Well, 19 of the 20 recruits already have jobs.
Oh.
Yeah, they're hired full-time. They're getting full-time benefits to go through the academy, and this one guy's putting himself through. And I did my best pitch, and he's already got a couple offers already. So, the fall academy, there's 10 students, and 10 of the 10 students in the academy are already sponsored. So, we're competing currently with Hudson PD. They have 3 vacancies. They top out around $90,000 a year. They're also taking lateral transfers. River Falls PD, also one of the top paid in our region, also hiring. So just to kind of present, even if we did post, let's say we make a recommendation that, yeah, we move forward with the hiring process, ideally for Jan 1. I'm not 100% confident we'll find a candidate, that would meet our requirements or be a good fit for us. For example, North Hudson PD has been trying to hire for a few years now, and they still have some vacancies. Osceola is in a very similar, position where they're having a hard time getting back to full staff. But, also going lean also puts a lot of stress on the folks who are here, who are working extra hours, OT, these 14-hour shifts by themselves, trying to, spread pretty thin. So, moving forward, I put together the numbers because I want to see what it was gonna look like if we did, add an officer January 1st, which I think is optimistic, even if we started today. So if we hired an officer Jan 1 and we look at our 2026 budget year, we'd actually be less than we are this year. So for example, our total operating budget is around $966,000 as a police department. Next year would be $950,000. Part of that is the vacancy from that officer who has some more seniority, who's on a different tier on the conditional bargaining agreement. So that's a factor. And if we bring into a new officer who's, essentially on step 1 or below step 1 on a probationary wage. So we would be net negative, which is impressive. Considering that these officers got a wage increase, some of them have step increases. So to essentially maintain neutral by adding an officer for next year, I think would be a win-win. So then we look at year over year, going to 2027, when we're back to full staff, the real year we're at 8 officers. So now we're looking at, we're over the 1 million mark. We're at just over 1 million, 1,058,218. And that would be a 11% increase from 2026 to 2027. And it's also factoring in a 4% wage increase, and step increases for the rest of the officers. So that's all already factored in.
Has there been any updating the school liaison?
So the school liaison is back to the original agreement, which is 50% paid by the school district. That doesn't reflect in our budget per se. It comes back through the general fund. But that essentially takes a patrol officer out of the rotation
As well.
during the school year. So,
Mr. Chairman, may I make a comment on this?
Sure.
If what I was planning to do is put staffing on the finance and personnel agenda. So what I'm looking for is public works and public safety to bring forward a preliminary plan like this that you're endorsing, and that public safety, then the finance and personnel will take it from there with the budgeting process and those kind of things. But first, we're looking for the respective 2 committees to endorse any staffing increases for next year. So whether you're prepared to do that tonight or next month, that is what I'm hoping recommendations come out of the 2 committees to finance and personnel, which will work on the budget as overall and then bring it to the village board for final approval. Is kind of the process that I'm setting the expectation for it. And I apologize, I didn't get to communicate this before your meeting, but that's part of the reason why I wanted to observe tonight, is just to communicate that to you. So if you have any questions about that, I'm free to answer it, but I think you get what I'm, get the 2 home committees to endorse a staffing plan for next year, and then it needs to go to finance and personnel for the, does it fit in the budget overall? What is the all budget, comparison? And I think it's probably achievable, but that's where we're at. So I don't know if you'll be prepared to make a recommendation tonight or need another month. I'll leave that up to you. Thank you.
Thanks.
So, yeah, my response to that is, the police department now has 34% of the overall village budget in the operating budget. This as presented, would actually it'd be a cheaper option next year, obviously, then we go back up again to that 11% in 2027. I understand there's probably long-term, repercussions for adding an officer. I would argue that we're already operating lean and low compared to the kind of federal benchmarks and standards, and also compared to our neighboring agencies. We compare ourselves to Baldwin and Prescott, who each have over 10 officers respectively. So I think there is action that I'd like to see taken in terms of we're already thin, we're going into a year where we're not gonna have a full-time officer for almost the entire year. And, recruiting is gonna take some time. And I just feel like something needs to happen.
Just trying to Joel, I think you've done a perfect job in the preliminary presentation. I mean, it's very detailed and very well done job. Just like I said, I'm looking for process-wise, I'm looking for the Public Works and Public Safety to recommend their staffing plans for next year. I think yours is very reasonable for next year, but obviously I can't speak for the rest of the finance committee members or the full board, but I think you're exactly on the right track of how this process should work, and you've worked hard on putting all those facts and figures together, which is extremely beneficial, and you made a good justification. So thank you, Joel.
Yeah, I feel that, I think we could definitely move on to recommend this to the full board, but I don't know that until we can get together with everyone.
Ryan, would it be a recommendation to finance or the full board?
Finance first, then village board.
Okay,
Okay, I'm okay with doing that. Are you? I
I,
mean, I'd really like to have everybody weigh in on it first before.
I mean,
right,
I could put it as a discussion item on the village board, but
I think that'd be great.
about 2026 FTEs, but it won't be a decision by the board. It'll just be,
Sure.
it will just put
I
discussion,
think,
and we'll
I
leave
think
off
that-
possible action. We'll just have a discussion about 2026 FTEs at the
well,
board.
I feel like it has to be a little more than a discussion though. I feel like it could be a recommendation, cause like as Joel says, it does take an awful lot of time until you can actually even get your officer out on the.
well, if I may weigh in, I'm okay with going through the process that Ryan's talking about, and I feel like if there's a subcommittee for the finance and personnel where let's weed it out through them, and let's, get to a point where we're comfortable, between these two subcommittees to make a recommendation.
Okay.
And we
then,
very well at finance and personnel could make the same recommendation you're prepared to make, this month as well, to get the ball rolling for you, because you've done the extensive work, to justify the positions and the changes. So, I mean, the data's there, we just have to make an executive decision. So, it very well could move through this month. So that's all I'll say. So thank you again.
I will make a recommendation to forward, is it 08?
Yeah, it'd be a 4508 position.
4508 position to the Finance and Personnel Committee.
I agree, I definitely like the finance and personnel to look at it in the whole budget, so, yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be my motion.
Okay, I will second that motion.
Person second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Right. Move it on. All right, Joel.
Thank you, guys.
Yep. And then, municipal court bills. 2025 budget report. Do you have anything? Any,
No, it looks fine for this time of the year.
yep, I agree.
On track.
So we'll move on. We'll move on to the police department. The 2025 budget report.
So can we assume the workers' compensation has been paid for the year?
Yes.
Again, right on track?
Yep, we would agree. All right, we'll move on to the police chief's report.
All right, so we got the calls for service from August, and July in here. I didn't, do the chart. I'll do that the next time. I was kind of working on these other things right up until the start of,
Okay.
this meeting. I guess, so was it August 15th and 16th, you know, were the concert days, and you wanna kind of get a picture of some of the calls for service we handled on those days, which include parking complaints, controlled substance, parking, domestic, accident, parking, welfare check, accident, parking, disabled vehicle, public assist, you know, et cetera, so. But yeah, that Friday was, an issue with the parking, specifically in the meadows and along Main Street.
There was more signage put up for the Saturday concert?
Yes,
Okay, and that, did the trick?
yeah,
Made a difference?
I think the major issue overall was the weather and then pulling their staff. And then people just getting stopped in gridlock and making their own decisions about what to do and where to go. And when there is a nice flow, people are more likely to stay in that flow and continue to the designated parking. But as soon as it gets backed up and they see outlets or exits, it's like water, they're gonna flow wherever they can move, so. But yeah, I think parking, the additional signs probably did help as well.
I've noticed a lot of extra patrols lately. Is there a particular reason for that?
It's kind of, an initiative that we're starting to kind of, help document our time.
Okay,
Specifically, we have a couple open continuous complaints of speeding, in particular neighborhoods. And that helps us kind of justify the time spent there, kind of what we encountered. There's a ability to make notes, kind of based off our observations. But it also, is essentially self-initiated field activity for people, to help justify, what they're doing throughout their shift.
Sounds like you're making some headway with that as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, yeah, we're doing some research on, getting a speed sign. It's a radar that blinks that, it could be on a trailer, but, it collects data too, so it'll say, you know, between 7:30 and 8:30 on this road, there is. You know, it'll kind of give a chart of how many people were speeding in excess of whatever.
great.
And it would help us kind of like tailor towards some of our enforcement
And
plans.
obviously there's other spots you can put it as well.
Oh, yeah, so, we're currently borrowing one from North Hudson PD, we have it out on, Aspen Drive right now.
It's
Yeah.
been great.
Yeah, so, and it's collecting data and it's showing people, it's slowing them down, and we've been making a lot of stops out there as well, so. that kind of goes to the total kind of response, I guess. And, it's, and a lot of times, like, you can put a marked squad out there,
Yeah,
it's hard to replicate what people are seeing, but
Sure.
I'm hoping this gives us a better picture of what's been going on.
sure. Yeah, sounds like, everybody seems to be very happy that your presence is there anyway.
Yeah, so I did bring this up at our chiefs group, and there is some interest in going, kind of sharing the cost of one of these. Because, you know, we might not need it 12 months out of the year, you know, it might get kind of old to have it in the same spot, so kind of switching it up and sharing the cost might be an option. Getting one with a full message board like you see during the concerts is an option. One of the issues I'm finding as we look into these newer units is they all like have subscriptions for the data.
Of course.
And you look at these older ones and there's no subscription charges. It's like à la carte, you know, with the software. So that's something that's turning me off to some of these larger, ones. So we're gonna continue to do some research to see what is the best bang for a buck, but at this point, I don't even have anything, budgeted per se for this, so it's kind of a moot point.
Right, cool. Do you have anything else to add, Chris?
I don't think so.
All right, you wanna move on to department activities or what?
Yeah, so. Let's see, so in July, July is the first day of the new fiscal year for the state, with the, like, training and standards. So we ended up doing our department range day where we went out and shot the qualification course on July 1st, so we got that checked off for the year. Let's see, July 4th was a busy weekend, let's see, traditionally a busy weekend. July 11th was the Summer of Loud concert, which was a relatively small concert, and it went pretty well. On July 15th, Wisconsin DOJ Training and Standards, came in for an in-person audit. Kind of auditing some of our, personnel files, specifically related to, kind of onboarding new officers, and we passed. So that went well. July 18th, I went to the summer academy. I kind of told you about 19 out of the 20 cadets are already sponsored. Let's see, July 21st to the 24th, 3 officers attended, their crisis intervention training. It's a 40-hour essentially de-escalation. As a grant funded, training held right here at, the sheriff's office. So the OT, the overtime to backfill their shifts were also covered in that grant. And then they're holding another, session for that in, October. So we're gonna send the rest of the folks through in October. On July 31st, I went through a red dot transition course with Officer Blumberg. It's just optics for pistols. It's kind of, everyone's kind of transitioning to these red dots. With that comes, you know, technology can fail, so we practiced a lot with it being covered and not working, you know, kind of going back to the old iron sights. So just, it's kind of a recommendation for getting proficient with a new piece of technology. August 5th is National Night Out in Betts Park. That went,
That was nice.
yeah, it went pretty well.
That looked very nice.
A little bit scaled back this year. I mean, it was still good though. We didn't have the helicopter land.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so next year we're the helicopter. But the fire department outdid themselves.
That was pretty cool. That was a huge sprinkler.
Slip and slide.
Oh,
August 15th and 16th were the concerts in Somerset, which we already talked about. We still had a lot of military leave to deal with or to work with in August. We had 2 officers get married in August.
dang.
So I'm working with Bob, Jessica, and Ryan on the zoning administrator ordinance and or kind of investigating what could be done with that position. Currently, it's the planning commission. I guess my involvement would be like some of these parking issues with private residences, specifically during concerts. So I've been reaching out to other municipalities to see what they're doing with their zoning administrator position. And reaching out to some third parties who do that. So then we're also working with Wisconsin Emergency Management in St. Croix County, emergency manager on a tabletop exercise with Somerset School District, which is coming up this month.
Cool.
We'll see.
Yeah,
Awesome. Do you have anything else to add, Chris? All right, well, let's move on to police and court bills then. Pickleball training is expensive.
yes.
It is. Otherwise, looks all right, huh?
Pretty straightforward.
Yep, I would agree too. Do we have to receive them at all, or I don't remember. I think it's just.
Yeah, we're just regular kind of thing.
All right, and then on the future agenda items, we were going to. What did we want to add? We wanted to add,
The ICUP review.
yes, the ICUP.
This capital improvements planning will be moved to old business or, yeah, new business. I don't know.
Okay,
So like five C would be carried over.
okay. And then, did you want to, do you wanna hold off on that ICUP until you all get
Yeah.
together and talk a little more?
Because there's gonna be changes and I'm not sure they're gonna be, the recommended changes might not be done by next month.
Okay,
So maybe we'll just touch base.
okay, and
Uh,
then we'll
before.
add that.
Yeah.
You okay with that, Chris?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, other than that, that's what I did.
so I did touch base briefly with Chris regarding parking on Main Street.
Oh, that's right, sorry.
I'm not sure if it needs to be, addressed now. And if you guys wanna take a look at it in the meantime and tell me what your thoughts are, but the area west of Pizza Planet, so on Main Street, west of Hud Street, there's like 3 or 4 stalls. Which are fine, I'm okay with, but beyond that, there's no restrictions. And there's no signs, there's no ordinance for it, and during the concert, people park there, and if they
That's on
park
the main street?
on Main Street, yeah, where it gets narrow. Like,
Okay,
between, those last few parking stalls and like Liquor Depot. And Hud Street, or Depot Street, there's no restrictions, and people took advantage of that.
sure,
And they parked on both sides, they made it. I think it's a public safety concern. Yeah, and that's our major artery, we have commercial motor vehicles going through.
yep,
So I would just suggest, amending that ordinance. And Chris, when you sent that over to me, I didn't know, you guys were talking about it that day. And I was like, oh, I might as well take a look at both these at the same time, but it's like, no, that went in front of the board that day, so.
Yep.
It was my fault for not getting back to you sooner.
yeah, but otherwise, yeah, I think we could. Definitely get that, so that's an amendment to amend
Yeah,
the parking ordinance for. Main-
yeah, because currently it's restricted, I think, west of Depot Street on Main Street, but it's not anything east of Depot. And I think we just have to get some language, we'd have to measure off how far west from Hud Street we'd wanna allow.
So then are we talking, so is this signage? Signage
Both.
or,
It'd have to be reflected in the ordinance and then also signed or painted.
so now, then that, will that be a kind of a public safety and public works then, or no?
Ryan, you wanna weigh in? Previously we've done it.
It's, to me, it's your purview to dictate that part of the ordinance. And Public Works' job to respectfully to their
Right.
department to follow through on markings as you make recommendations of
Sure, okay,
parking control, traffic control, you know. And Joel has done a good job of this, but in the past, when we've added streets and stop signs, every single one of those has to be entered into the ordinance and updated. Otherwise, it's not enforceable. So it is a thing that needs to be constantly reviewed.
then,
Brad Nemick, the Honorable Brad T. Nemick, our municipal judge, reminds me of that frequently because he says, well, so-and-so got a ticket at this stop sign, but it wasn't in the ordinance, so I dismissed the ticket, you know. Him just kind of jabbing me, but you get what I'm getting at. So it's your purview to make the recommendation. The board will most likely adopt it. Public Works, then their job is to, execute the signage or painting or et cetera.
okay,
That's my view, and that's how I would work, recommend to Public Works. So that's
Sure.
just, thank you.
we'll definitely put that on the next agenda then. Make a motion to adjourn,
I'll second.
first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.